Until Dawn. Do you have a few words to describe your experience with this movie?
It was worse than I expected, and I had low expectations going in. What about you?
If you're a fan of the game, I wouldn't recommend seeing the movie. If you're not a fan of the game, I wouldn't recommend seeing the movie. It definitely set the bar pretty low and then went under the bar.
Yeah, it was rough.
So going into the movie, we were both already fans of the game. We had played the game when it originally came out. I've probably replayed the game a couple of times, hundreds of times, dozens of times.
Probably all the way through like 3 times.
Yeah,
I'd say.
yeah, probably at least once.
Yeah, for sure.
Love the game though. Spanned an entire series. Obviously pretty successful. It's like a movie-based, story-based game. Highly recommend the game. If you're watching the movie first and then going into the game thinking it's going to be a shitter, it's not. Vice versa. If you are playing the great game, going into the movie, it is a shitter. The game's great. I didn't know much going in, so I had pretty low expectations, but had high hopes because of the game and the source material.
When we saw the trailer together, we already had a little bit of a disagreement about how we thought it could go, because the time loop, I remember you saying that you didn't think that it really resembled the game at all.
Yeah.
And I kind of came at it from the perspective of like, well, how do you adapt a video game into a movie? Because you can't play as the characters in the movie, and you make choices as the characters throughout the game. So how can you show that they're making different choices and also dying? So a time loop. I was kind of trying to cope, I think, with trying to force it into something that makes sense. Lo and behold, it did not live up to my expectations, even though they were so low. I'm kind of with you that my expectations were really low going in, and it still came under that.
If you've never played the game, it's already basically like a movie, more so than a game.
Yep.
So like the core elements of the gameplay are you're basically making choices for the characters. So there's specific dialogue to have different interactions with the different characters to maybe boost a relationship in one way or another. You get to kind of play as every single character. The other kind of gameplay element is quick time events. So you're going through maybe running from something and there's a log that appears and you have to jump over it and hit the X button or whatever that button might be. But those are really like the core gameplay element, the choices you make, and then those choices have consequences. If you make the wrong choice, tell somebody to do something they shouldn't do, a person can die. In the game, you don't just inherently get to redo. You would probably have to replay the whole game. Unless you've already played through it, then you can kind of go back and save everybody and get different endings. But on your very first playthrough, the choices you make matter, and whoever lives or dies. So it's more impactful because you don't know that you're able to change choices, and you don't know which choice is right or wrong. So I think that's kind of the adrenaline and the fun of it is, am I making the right choice for that right moment? So Josh invites everybody up at this like mountain on a summit.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like his family's.
It's like a lodge. Yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah, it is sick.
And nobody lives there ever. So he's set up this elaborate thing where the 2 sisters at the beginning of the game,
Hannah and Beth.
They were running from somebody.
Through the woods. They were running from the man that lives up there, who actually wasn't a threat.
Yeah, and he was trying to protect people from the Wendigos. Giant scary guy with the flamethrower, doesn't use his words very well. Just kind of runs at people with a flamethrower.
He was running after them.
But so they kind of fall off a mountain. You think that they both die. Later on in the story, you find out
one of them dies.
Yeah,
the other
one dies. The other one lives.
Right, and the way that she lived was
she ate her sister out.
She ate her sister
out.
And this mountain has like some kind of mystical energy to where the people that are up there that engage in cannibalism, they turn into Wendigos.
Yep.
Which is the same thing that happened to the miners in a mining accident on the same mountain like 20 years ago or so.
Some curse or something.
There's a bunch of fucking Wendigos running around on the mountain, and that turns out to be the actual threat.
Yeah, and the Wendigos in the game are terrifying.
Horrifying.
They're super quick. They're like twitchy movement. They can climb on walls and and they have like elongated limbs. They're almost dog-like. They're on all fours most times, but they're just crazy scary. And that's pretty much the only parallel with the game is the Wendigo. The movie, and kind of where it starts and picks up, is 6 friends. So that's a parallel right there. None of the characters that we see in the game, but 6 different friends. The main character, who I don't remember her name because I didn't care, her sister went missing, and they're kind of trying to track where she had went. She went missing a year ago. They end up in this rain wall, as one of the characters says.
Yeah. So like they're driving through this crazy storm, and they. You think it's going to be a jump scare where they run into somebody randomly, but instead they get out into this clear opening, and there's just a wall of rain and then a clear opening with a house in there.
That's our setting for the whole movie. They kind of started investigating this house, which you're assuming is a house. It looks like it's some sort of place where guests can stay or lodge.
I guess it's like another lodge.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like I didn't see a single bedroom or.
Yeah, you're right.
I saw a bathroom. In a basement.
A creepy basement.
And that wall with all the people missing. Like,
Yep.
There's like a ledger book where people can sign in and sign your names. And little do you know it, Melanie's name is on there. Melanie?
Yeah, Melanie.
Melanie's name is on there, and she had stayed for 11 or 12 nights. And you're like, oh, this is the last place Melanie went missing. And then one of the characters is pulling down posters on a wall and sees that there's all these missing signs, but there's no missing date or what they, where they went missing or why. It just says missing. And they're kind of like, this is really weird, but don't really question it. And then immediately they're all offed. They are all killed. They reset the night.
There's like a sand dial on the wall that turns.
Yeah.
And it starts ticking.
That sets up the kind of the plot for the movie. So they have this house, and there are things trying to kill them. They just have to survive the night, and that's pretty much all we get to go off of. That's the premise of the movie: is are they going to survive until dawn? And so as we go through, they are throwing everything at the wall. You see the same like killer that looks like what Josh was dressed up as, and he's killing them some nights. There's a witch apparently, maybe a ghost that's like dragging people across places, an unseen force. There's some sort of giant in the forest.
One night they try to run away.
Yeah, drive away
into the rain, and there's a gigantic monster in the background that they just turn around and like they head back to.
Yeah, like the lightning illuminates it or whatever. And
that was not in any of the games. I don't know what that was.
What else do you see? You see Wendigos. The Wendigos basically acted like zombies. The more times they die and the more nights they stay there, they're turning into the Wendigos.
Slowly.
And that's not how it works in the game, but whatever. Roll with
cool.
it. Yeah, roll with it. It's a threat. You pretty much only see the one girl like turning until the very final night.
Like she gets like teeth.
Yeah, she's getting the worst of it.
Her hair's falling out really early.
There's a night where they're trying to survive in a bathroom, so they're just kind of holed up and just surviving the night. You're like, okay, that's a good deal. The water wasn't previously working, but then for some reason it is, and they have a glass in there, and they're like, oh, let's drink some water.
We're thirsty. We've been dying a lot. Let's drink a cup of water.
So they drink this water and pass it around. The one character, the boyfriend, who wasn't even part of the friend group, he was just like a side piece or whatever. He starts throwing up like beans, it looks like, in his hands.
He tries to hide it.
He's wiping it on the shower curtain.
He's
like,
nobody heard me hack this up.
And then he just starts going like full like retching and disgusting sounds, and everybody's kind of ignoring him for a second, which is really weird. Like you hear him in the background, and they finally look at him,
like,
and
you need some more water.
Yeah, and then he explodes into bits of guts and all over people's faces and mouths, and
there was nothing like the water was a little dirty at first, but there was nothing like none of the games said anything about exploding water.
No,
the show doesn't talk, or the movie doesn't talk about the water being explosive, and they don't fucking talk about it ever again. They don't talk about the reason why it happens. Obviously, it shows up a couple times.
So for some reason, this water, when it's inhaled or consumed, ingested, whatever, you spontaneously combust.
Yeah.
The room starts like exploding. Each person in the room,
except for the Asian girl.
Yeah, the Asian girl, her leg explodes, but nothing else, and then part of her side explodes. And she gets it so gruesome.
They killed her so gruesomely every single time. But nobody else. Everybody else gets not clean death, but like a quick death.
Yeah, everybody else's head just kind of like their whole body exploded or whatever, quick death. Hers was painful. She was crawling towards him with half her leg missing.
Yeah. And they're like, I'll just stay away from me.
Yeah, it comes up as like this is how I'm going to defeat the big bad later on. She puts some water in his coffee cup and he explodes.
The curator.
So that's a parallel, is the curator. He is kind of the main antagonist, I guess, throughout.
Like he's controlling the whole town somehow, and like he's resetting the night. And he was also in the game, but he didn't have this kind of role. Like,
in the game, it seems like it's like Josh's like psychiatrist or something,
like
and
in his head.
He's speaking to him and seeing like what his fears are, and like.
And it's the same actor that plays the curator in the game.
The same actor
in the movie.
Like that's it. The whole plot of the movie, trying to survive the nights. Even I think the directors got bored of it, because we get through night 4 maybe, and then they're like, oh, what night are we on? And one person says like, oh, I think it's 4, I think it's 5, and they say, no, it's night 12 or something. And they're like, oh, we're missing nights, and they just play them back quickly on a phone. Like I guess they thought we would get bored of it, because I was getting bored after the first 4 nights
for sure. And the dude randomly is like, wait, how are we on night 12? I think I recorded stuff. And he goes on his phone and like sees his gallery, and he's got like 30 videos of the nights that happened before, and it's like, that is such a lazy way to show like how the nights went. And I mean, some of them were kind of cool, I guess, but it's like, it's just like a slideshow of different deaths, and it's like, man, there could have been a cooler concept.
And I mean, I was fine with it truthfully at that point in the movie, because I was like, man, we just need to get through this and get over with it. The quicker we get through these nights, the better it is.
For sure. And then they randomly, on the 12th night, they say, oh wait, how many times did everybody else sign in? Like the previous guests. 13. Nobody survives past the 13th night. Or whatever.
So this is like their final night. Like the stakes are the highest they've ever been. Never felt like there was any tension or stakes.
Yeah, so blah, blah, blah. They get to the 13th night. All the villains from all the previous nights run after them. They run in a tunnel. They find the curator. They put water in his drink. He drinks it. He explodes. They survive the night.
Yep, so every single one of them makes it out.
Let's talk about any kind of good thing that we can think of.
The good of the movie.
Yeah, let's see. I only have one. It's probably the same as yours.
I think the effects were pretty decent. They had some pretty gruesome kills. It seemed like earlier on the kills were more gruesome than later on. Like they kind of throw everything up front. Yeah. Like there's a scene where he like stabs him in the eye and he kind of pulls his eyeball out of the stake and you're like, oh, that's gross, but it's like it's cool. The explosion, like the guts and stuff, it looks practical.
Yeah.
There's
it was random and stupid as hell, but like it looked fine. Like if a body's gonna explode, that's probably what it's gonna look like. Some of the jump scares were kind of good, I guess, but like I'm not really a fan of jump scares, and I think a lot of them were very random, and it was like jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, and it's like
there was almost no like horror aspects of it besides the jump scare. Like that was how you got the scares or the horror out of it. There's no tension building. It was just like, oh, we see the killer. Oh, they're probably gonna die because they have another life, and then they die in this unique way or whatnot. And then it's like, oh, we're gonna reset and do that again a couple times until you guys get bored of it, and then let's skip some nights and just show how they survived this crazy event.
The only other positive I can give, and it doesn't even really come from the movie, is kind of like my expectations going in. Like I had such high hopes. I was like, man, they could do something kind of cool with this, and that kind of made me excited for it. But the actual movie, it was mostly just a shitter.
Yeah, I think it was impossible to go in having, I think because the game is so good, I just subconsciously was like, yep, I think this movie's going to be pretty good. They wouldn't use a game title without it being a good game adaptation. There's never been a bad game adaptation to a movie before.
Jumping into negatives, the clearest negative for me is kind of what we were talking about before. They could have pretty much just remade the game. 6 friends go to a cabin in the woods and they survive the night. Just one night, they make dumb horror movie decisions. Maybe some of them die. Maybe there's a false threat in the beginning and then it builds up to like a real mystical threat, like the Wendigos, like being an actual entity or something like that. It's crazy as hell, and then some of them actually survive. I think that could have been cool. Kind of what you alluded to is like as the days go on, it's like very repetitive, and it's like, well, how are they going to die this time? I've got no interest in the deaths or like.
Let's just get to the final day. So
exactly.
We can see, what happens.
I got to that point pretty quickly to where I'm like, I'm just ready for it to be over.
The source material is so good. All they had to do was copy and paste the source material, and I think fans of the game would have been happy. Yeah, we've seen the content before, but that's why we're seeing the movies, because we like the game. Exactly. If you just rinse and repeat that and maybe have some unique stuff within that, but they just deviated from the source material, yet they still use the game name, but none of them source material besides saying the word Wendigo, and they're not even acting like Wendigo. They're like zombies stumbling around. They're not that quick. Humans are running quicker than them. Yeah. They never run on walls.
Stronger than them.
Yeah, they never run on walls. They overpower them pretty easily. Yeah. Like the Wendigos don't even seem like threats, except for they have sharp, pointy teeth.
I kind of go back and forth on this thought. Like, I don't necessarily need a video game movie to be exactly one-to-one.
Yeah, like, I'm fine if you take some creative liberties.
Exactly, because I mean, it's kind of like The Last of Us. Like, if people wanted it to be the exact same, just replay the games. I get that. If I wanted it to be the exact same as Until Dawn, just replay the game.
But it follows the source story.
Exactly.
Like, they hit the same story beats, but how they get there may be a little different.
Yeah.
So.
And this adaptation is just like, it's trying to piece together way too many things that I think it kind of lost its identity. It doesn't. It's not Until Dawn. Like, they say Until Dawn in the movie, and it's like, okay, they said the name.
They're just trying to live Until Dawn.
Yeah. The acting, like we talked about, was not good. You don't care for the characters, and then any other entity besides the Wendigo, like the witch, the bullshit in the forest, they're just thrown in there. It's just random. And
I think they had like a pop culture meme. Like, have you ever heard of Siren Head? Like, they were playing that siren from like Silent Hill siren, basically. Like, their eyes are bleeding. They're like, oh, what's happening?
Let's say they kept the same concept. How do we think that they could change it to make it better?
I think if they made it with the characters in the game, I think immediately I would have cared more. They used Rami Malek as Josh in the game, so that is a real actor, and I'm pretty sure they used the likeness of most actors. Like, they could have just got those actors to play it, and that would have already been like fan service right there. Get us to care about these characters in some way. I don't care about these random characters. I went to the movie to see the characters that I know and played in the game, and the only reference the movie is at the end. You see the curator or whatever he is. You kind of see Rami Malek's picture as like he was one of the patients and like that was his dream world or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, I already don't care. Like, I would have loved to see that story.
Yeah, exactly. because they just throw it in. Like, they have a picture of Rami Malek from the game, and his name was Josh from the game. So obviously they're alluding to what happened in the game.
I hope his name is Josh.
So I forget his last name, but
Yeah.
on the paper it showed Joshua. I think for me, one thing that maybe could have not save it because it still would be terrible, but like if it could make it better is if they actually learned things from night to night that actually helped them.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like every night they would just be like, oh, let's just kill ourselves and get to the next night so we can get out of here.
Yeah, because their friends kept dying. They're like, oh, I don't want to live without my friends. And for some reason, they couldn't remember night to night. But their
Sometimes they
phone,
could.
yeah, sometimes they could remember small details, or like it seemed like as the nights progressed, more of it they forgot. And apparently, they never even tried to go down into the mines, which is what they did in the last night. And that is like what takes them right out. They had no trouble traversing through the mines. Like there's some bad guys in the way, but they've overcome all these obstacles up to this point, and now they're super strong and able to overpower these people they couldn't do earlier, even though they can't remember it. So it's like that movie timing. It's just like, oh, it's convenient for me to beat the villain now,
exactly
so let's
what it
beat
was.
it. And it's like they're just trying to hit these random story beats that I don't care about.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it was. Movie timing. They literally overpowered a guy that took them all out like 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, they stab him like in the back of the neck at one point, and he's unfazed. And this time they like throw a vase at him, and he falls on the floor.
Yeah.
And then 3 of them have to swing this giant hammer to like crush his skull. He's wielding it with like one hand swinging it around. You're not overpowering that guy. I do not believe it.
Honestly, maybe if the curator had a more intelligible role, like what the fuck was he even doing?
No,
I
they
don't
just kind of
understand.
threw that in there because it's like that's the only tie to the game that they were like, maybe fans will love this. Let's throw the curator in there. They'll get that reference. He had a big part in the story, but the movie didn't really elaborate on it, or
It
like
didn't
why
make
he's
sense.
doing
Like,
it, or
how
like,
is he controlling this? Like, how is he not getting reset?
Yeah.
But he's affected by the water at the end? Like,
it made no sense.
it was stupid throughout.
Any final thoughts on the movie? I mean, I feel like we've shit on it enough. There's very few positives to say.
I mean, we can give our final rating if you want.
I've seen a lot of shitters this year. Like, Climax is the worst movie I've seen this year. This is not Climax level.
I agree.
But it was at least more entertaining. But it is down there. It's probably one of my least favorite movies of the year.
It's really bad, and I think it's worse than it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good.
No.
I did not really enjoy it. I did like it better than Climax.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. It's like 3-4 territory, man. I think I gotta go with like a solid 3. It was so soulless is all I can say. It's just
I
like
agree.
Hollywood at its core, cash grab for cash grab's sake. They want people who have played the game, know the title, heard of it, to go into this. And then they don't give a fuck if you like the movie or watch it. They got their money from you.
Exactly.
And like that's the scam of
There's
it.
nothing in it for the gamers because
Nope.
they don't have any characters. Nothing from the game into this really. Like the Wendigos are not Wendigos.
Yeah.
And
A
there's
couple
nothing.
shout-outs.
And there's nothing for new watchers either. Like it's a boring movie. Like
Yeah.
it's not interesting. 4 from me, 3 from you. Just play the game again.
Yeah, play the game, stay away from the movie.
Yeah.
If you see it and you haven't played the game, let us know what you think, because I'd be interested to see if somebody doesn't have that like clouded judgment going into it, or have that great source material that's like, oh yeah, this movie was kind of fun, because I couldn't even pick up anything fun out of it.
True. I mean, maybe we're being too hard on it because we played the game. I don't think so.
No,
but,
I don't think so.
you know.
Would not recommend. Don't see. Thanks for watching.